Welcome to the Beyond Physio podcast, where we help you move, excel, and inspire others on your journey to your next level with knowledge and advice from experts and testimonials from our like-minded community. Andrew, thank you so much for coming in on Monday.
Yeah.
And during the weekday, I know you're really busy with 6 kids.
Yes, 6 kids.
Andrew, let's talk about your journey prior to coming to Next Level. Talk about the activities that you love to be part of. You and I have met through F3 connections down here in Cary. So
I've been doing F3 for 8 years now. I think this month is my 8th anniversary.
Wow.
Being an F3, working out. Started off as 2 or 3 days a week, then quickly got into almost every morning.
Yeah.
And then a couple years in, I started running a lot more. It seems like a natural progression for a lot of F3 guys. They start off as like casual, get back in shape, or just switch from just weights in the gym to something more cardio mixed in. And so I started running a little bit more, had little things along the way, a calf that would kind of bother me, a hip flexor bother me, work through it. And just eventually went into Blue Ridge Relay. A lot of guys end up doing that.
That seems to be the downfall of many guys.
Yes, it does. Probably going into that's probably the highlight of your year.
Yes. We just wait by the phone, just waiting for guys to call.
It's like a bell curve. July or June, July, August, September.
Yep. And so with the Blue Ridge Relay, it's basically like a 5 to 6 man team, I think, right?
Yeah, you can do 6, 9, or 12-man teams.
Yeah.
I think there's even some crazy guys that do it with only 4 men.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of running for each person.
So I started off doing 12, did that 2 years in a row, and that was a lot of fun. Then a couple guys threw out a challenge to maybe try a 6-man, so I did that and really enjoyed it. And then the next year, somebody talked about doing some epic things. And one of the ideas that was thrown out there was to run across the Grand Canyon twice.
The rim to rim.
Yeah, so they call it rim to rim to rim.
Wow.
Or R to R.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm not getting any younger.
Bucket list item.
And so a couple of us signed up to do that and started training. And so that ended up being 48 miles to go all the way across the Grand Canyon and then come all the way back in the same trip. And so that was pushing myself to my limits for sure.
So Andrew, basically you had no running background prior to F3 and you got into it. Now you got into it pretty deep and to the point where you're doing these much longer races and runs. What's it feel like being a runner? Like when you go from that transition to not running to running?
It's funny because I still don't know if I'd consider myself a runner.
Well, you did run.
Yeah, I know, which is kind of funny. But I'd say prior to 2019, I don't think I had ever ran more than 3 miles in one run.
Yeah.
I'd have knee things when I was in high school or college and just thought, hey, my knees just not made out to run long distances.
Yeah.
And then came to learn that maybe my IT band might be tighter than the average person. So started working on that some and just started just ramping up. And I still don't know if I'd call myself a runner, but I really enjoy running. It's one thing that I missed. And that's why I came to you.
Yeah. Now, prior to coming to see us, Andrew, have you tried other PT places before?
I have.
What was your experience like there versus maybe what you've seen with us?
Yeah, I saw some results. I went to another location that had, I think it was one of the owners there that had good attention put on me and gait analysis that really helped adjust a few things, helped me increase my step counts, my cadence.
Yeah.
And that helped. I saw a difference there. But then after a while, I kind of felt like I was kind of a number and kind of got pushed through. And I don't say that in a bad way, but it was next in line and then the next in line.
Yeah, typically that's what people tell us and we don't advertise necessarily that we are one way or another per se, but what we've heard from other runners and other people who are hybrid athletes and stuff like that is that it may start off okay, but then after you get into the routine of things, then it becomes very routine. And so there isn't sort of like this end game and there isn't an individualized or customized program for what you want to get back to. It becomes kind of transactional. And I think that's just a model that exists out there. And it might work for some people who are looking for basic care. But for the guys that we see in F3 and for our serious athletes who are, 30, 40, 50, I mean, the time spent anywhere has to be meaningful. And you want to get results to the point where you can get back to what you love to do.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, coming in and the money that you have to spend to get quality PT, you don't want to to go through the motions.
Definitely. We are not the cheapest game in town, that's
No.
for sure. But we try to deliver the right experience, and we really do care about our patients getting back to what they want to do. After all, that's why we're living life, and that's why we're in business, is because we have found that there's a big need and big gap for guys and gals out there who are looking for more specialized service, and they live a life that's not your ordinary life. And so if you're looking to get just like going back to sit on the couch or going upstairs, that's one level.
Right.
But for you and me, we want to get to these other levels continually, or stay in the game at least for the next 40, 50 years, God willing.
Right.
And so the investment in yourself really has an impact on how you're going to be able to progress to those things.
Yeah. No, I mean, I got to the point where I couldn't even play a game of knockout with my kids without my knee bothering me. And then for 2 or 3 days afterwards.
Oh, wow.
And so that just wasn't the quality of life that I wanted. That wasn't the dad that I, every time my kid says, hey, can we go play basketball? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to, or I can only play horse, or something like that. That's right. So I want to be able to play with the kids and play football or basketball or just be a dad. So
yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I would say a lot of our dads will often say the same thing. Like, I didn't want to be the guy on the couch who couldn't play with their kids, or I didn't want to think twice about playing a game with my kids or of any kind. I think because of our value with family, I think that's an important thing to consider. Like, hey, I don't want to be limited from doing what I do with my kids. It's crazy. So then tell me about your experience while you've been here, Andrew. What did you like about it? What do you think was different in particular about the way you got treated?
Yeah, I mean, I think the personal attention to how I was progressing, adjusting almost, probably not every time, but almost every other time, adjusting the workouts that I'd go home with.
Yeah.
Listening. There was that one time I came in where I had a quad that kind of was strained a little bit. And it wasn't, we didn't sign you up for that. You have to pay extra, or why don't you come in for a different visit for that? Yeah. You jumped right on it and kind of addressed it and helped it get out of the way quicker.
Yeah.
So I think just the personal touch really helped. And I think there was just more, I don't want to say invasive, but there was definitely the additional tools that you use that really
the regenerative
helped.
stuff.
Yeah. So I and the attention to the types of torture that you like to inflict on people.
It's therapy, not torture.
Yes. Therapy. Different types of therapy that you like to use.
Yes.
But I definitely saw results, and I think it definitely, I don't know how how it all did what it did to my knee, but it definitely helped me get back to running again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just for our audience out there, if you're curious about what we did for Andrew, not only do we take a whole person approach, is where we found that his root cause for what was going on was really in his running form, and also in certain acquired weaknesses he had on one side. And as far as treatment goes, we actually focused on using a regenerative approach, so using the 2 different kinds of shockwave, which is the focus shockwave and the radio shockwave. They function similarly, but very different depths. Andrew could tell you one was a little bit more intense than the other one.
Sneaky, intense.
Yeah, it is sneaky. Yes, that's the sneaky one. And then we use dry needling and BFR to really enhance the amount of blood flow into the area, and also to elicit the right response for his body to start the healing process faster. And getting our athletes out of that phase 1 is a really critical component of what we're doing here with the regenerative physio, because eventually we want to get everyone better faster so they can get back to what they do. We can build that platform quickly with them, which is great. And Andrew, it sounds also like from the customized approach, and I'm glad you said workouts, because a lot of times you go to what I hear from other traditional physical therapy practices, that you go and you do these exercises, they're kind of general or basic. But what I pride myself in, and it's the model in all of our offices, is that people often leave sweating, which is, so you do feel like it's a workout. It is a strength-based workout to get you the right foundation to start doing the things you love to do.
Yeah. I don't think I remember having to go home from other PT appointments and showering until I came to you. So
I'm going to write that as a quote.
Yeah. So that was a good feeling. And it wasn't just 40 minutes and I'm out.
Yeah.
There was oftentimes I was here for over an hour.
Yeah.
Getting the workout in.
Yeah.
And so I definitely appreciate that.
That's awesome, man. And what's cool is that you are also, and it's a partnership with our clients where it's expected that you're going to do your program. And I think your compliance was decent, given your busy schedule and having 6 kids. But that is where the magic happens. It's the stuff that you also do outside and how compliant you are. Often our best clients are the ones who do follow the program. We, unfortunately, and you know who they are, there are guys and gals out there who they say that they're going to do the thing, but then they go extra and they end up getting more injured somehow.
Yeah.
But I love that you were actually following pretty much protocol what we asked you to do.
Yep. I did all my warm-up exercises prescribed this morning before workout.
So proud of you,
Andrew. That was great. I did it probably 3 times last week before running. So
excellent.
Definitely, I think it's been the key of getting me back on my feet again.
100%, yeah. And it's funny because as you and I get younger, I love to say,
right,
those warm-ups do become more and more important, and our body needs a little more time to get to the place where it's ready to do the kind of work as you do for F3 or just even for running too.
Yeah.
So Andrew, as far as like the team atmosphere, what did you like about working with our team?
It was really calm and easy to be here. I think I liked how just seeing you guys as a business owner and seeing how you guys work together.
Yeah.
Your team really is behind you and wants your success. I've seen other teams where it's kind of like, oh, well, that's not my role. So, and not necessarily in a PT setting, but just in a work environment. Yeah. Just how each person in your team is always willing to help out. Hey, do you want me to do this? Or, here, let me adjust this. Well, because a cord or something's getting tangled. And So everybody's willing to help out, and you can tell that in just the culture that you guys have here.
I'm so glad you noticed that too as a business owner as well. We really pride ourselves on having a culture where people feel welcomed, number one, and they feel cared for. But also within our team, it's really about making sure that everyone succeeds at what we do. So whether it's the small things like you said, helping out with different patients, or whether we're adhering to that bigger goal of where we're trying to go to as a company, we try to attract the right talent to be able to understand that and execute what's needed to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, even just seeing your team as you were setting up for this podcast, everybody's kind of helping out and doing their part to make sure everything, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So that's really cool.
Awesome. So Andrew, if somebody was on the fence about coming in to see us, what would you tell them to convince them that this is the best choice for them?
I would tell them that, well, there's I don't know, what you call it, the free consult or just kind of come in.
Yep.
Just come in and just talk to these guys. Talk to Jerry, and they'll talk to you more than just about the injury, but your whole body and what's important, where you're at on your diet, supplements, different aspects of your sleep, things that it's your whole body. It's not just like the knee that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned early on once we started getting into my training was my hips are probably, and that old hip flexor injury from skiing 10 years ago is probably what's contributing to my knee. I'm compensating somewhere. Yeah. And so, but yeah, just come in and get an assessment and talk to them about it and see where that journey may go.
Yeah. And for all of us, and for anyone listening out there, we try to provide a roadmap for the person. Now, whether or not that person decides they want to continue on with us, totally understand. We're not for everybody, but for those people who need something to understand better what's going on with them and to see that they have both a root cause diagnosis and an actual diagnosis of what they're feeling is really important, because you can take that roadmap and go anywhere out there and see, hopefully you get the right care. But it's really our way to give back to the community as far as helping people make better decisions about their health, their fitness, and their life.
Yeah. I mean, one time while I was in here doing my exercises, I heard Dr. Megan doing an assessment with somebody else, and I think by the time he left, he'd postponed his surgery that he was about to have. I think it was a shoulder surgery. And he was like, I really want to give this a chance to heal without surgery. If I don't have to be invasive, if there is something that I can do to heal without going under the knife. So.
Yeah, that is definitely our goal. Like, we want to try to exhaust every possibility to help people not have to get surgery, which might not be good for surgeons out there. But we try to do that because we know that the recovery for surgery is so long sometimes. It could be 3 to 8, 9, even 12 months even. And so if there's anything that we can do to help that person not have to go under the blade, we're going to try to do what we can. Andrew, so like as far as like the activities now you've been able to go back to now, so now you've been able to go back to workouts, no problem, and running has been easier for you now. Yeah.
I'm still at interval. I'm still kind of
building up,
growing and building up, but I did my workout this morning over 2 miles during the boot camp. I played football with the youth group last night at church, and it was fine. It was a little sore, and I was like, oh boy, did I overdo it? But I was fine this morning, did my exercises. So still building, but I feel way more confident than I do, not just because of where I'm at, but also what I've learned and the exercises and the tools that I have.
Oh, that's awesome. We love hearing, and it's, I don't know if there's anything, I don't think there's such a thing as injury prevention sometimes. I would say that it's really about injury resistance. So the things that you and I can do to protect our bodies from, getting hurt. But what you said was actually just beautiful, where you felt something, but you're able to bounce back the next day, which is awesome, because that's just the journey of how it's going to be when we live active lifestyles.
Yeah.
And if you can stave off not only having to come back to physical therapy, but also if you have the right tools. And I think we've done the right things to help empower you to take care of yourself in a way that you're going to be able to do that in the future as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your success story with us. Any other things you want to share with our audience?
No, I thank you for helping me and to get back to where I am today, and hopefully we'll be able to continue and not go under the needle or the therapy, all the therapy devices that you use. But I really appreciate all the work you've done and getting me back on my feet again.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. It really does mean a lot to us. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or comment if you got at least one or two helpful insights or takeaways to help you get to your next level.